Hello, good evening and welcome to a new presentation in the MyRoute-app webinar room, which is now MyRoute-app office. I'm not in the studio, so I'm not in front of a green screen. I'm actually in the heart of the operation. I'm at the desk where also the developers are working, and that is for a very good reason, because tonight I will be talking with Timo, representing MyRoute-app, about the new MRA navigation app, MRA Navigation Next, and I also will be talking to Koyan, the head developer here at MyRoute-app, talking about MyRoute-app Mobile, the new developments coming to that platform, and the future release of MRA Navigation Next. So, as always, my name is Serge, and I'm just the guide, and I will try to guide you around the new MRA Mobile and MRA Navigation Next apps, and I will do that first by showing you a screen with some information. After that, of course, I'll get a phone in screen and I'll show you what I'm telling you now, because MyRoute-app Mobile, MRA Mobile, is the free app that everybody should have on their phone if you're out and about, whether you're walking, hiking, biking, motorcycle riding, or even are just driving your car. And why would you want to have the MRA Mobile app on your phone? Because it's the all-in-one travel companion. It's really the free travel buddy, and the latest features that we have to share with you I'll go over in a minute. It's the mobile app that is connected to our MRA website, MyRoute-app Mobile, MyRoute-app Web, where you can find your routes and you can build your own routes. I'm not going to go into detail on that tonight, but I've done that in many different other webinars, and I surely will in the future. So if you want to read what I'm reading now, please visit info.myrouteapp.com/mobile2, info.myrouteapp.com/mobile2, and you can find this information for yourself. Without further ado, let's go through some of these features. MyRoute-app Mobile, MRA Mobile, is a free app that you can use for a couple of tasks while you're on the go. It is a tracking device, so it can keep track of where you were, whether you were hiking, biking, or motorcycle riding, by starting a track log on the mobile app, and I'll show you on the mobile screen in a second how that works. It keeps track of where you were, so you can have a future reference when building your new routes later on. You have the ability to add photos directly in the app, or adding them later on from your camera gallery, so that you can create a full travel story based on that track. There's the possibility to save your routes offline. And why would you want to do that? If you have created a route in MyRoute-app route planner on the website, or maybe on the mobile app itself, and you want to use that route in your Garmin navigation device, or in one of your favorite apps on your mobile device, you can surely do so by saving the route as a GPX file offline, and you can directly send them to, for example, the Garmin Drive app to use the route on your Garmin XT, or on the BMW Connected app to use it on the BMW Connected Ride app on your BMW Cradle. But of course you can also download it as ITN and use a specific cable to export the route to your older TomTom. So there's functionality in that. Then I also already told you about the tracking, and the last thing, and definitely not the least thing, is create and drive the routes yourself. You can either enter an address, a favorite, you can determine how windy or how curvy you want the routes, and it will be a route that is shown on the map. It's not a turn-by-turn navigation. That's why we are developing MRA Navigation Next, and why we have our current MRA Navigation. That's the turn-by-turn with spoken information on your screen. But MyRoute-app Mobile, MRA Mobile, will provide a line on the map that you can easily follow while hiking, while biking, and even while motorcycle riding, just as a guide of where you want to go. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on that once we have the app on screen. Of course, it's available for both iOS and Android devices, either in the App Store or in the Google Play Store, and always take the latest version. The new version, I think it's 3.2.1. Next week we have 3.2.2 coming out, so make sure you always have the latest version to benefit from all the latest features. So what is MRA Mobile exactly? I won't read out everything that's on this page, but it's a full travel companion that allows you to track, create and export routes on the go. And a few of the key features I want to highlight so I can show you on the screen in a second. This is the layout of the screen as you would see it on the phone in a second. And one of the great features is find routes nearby. Imagine you're in the Yorkshire Dales, or you're in Dartmoor, or you're near Exmoor somewhere, and you want to ride. You find the nearest route next to you, you open it in MyRoute-app Mobile, and you can either export it or follow the line on screen, and you're off to a great time. Then you can write your favorite routes, the ones that you already saved in your MyRoute-app route lab on the web or via mobile. Those routes are at your fingertips as well. You can make the tracks while you're driving, so you can see later on where you were, and you can add favorite places while you ride. I'll show you in a second how that works, but imagine you're riding somewhere and you enjoy the view, or you enjoy the restaurant that you just passed and go like, hey, we might want to visit this sometime. You can add that on the go as a favorite point, so you can use that in a future route as a reference point. You can add photos to your track to create a travel blog that is even more informative than just the track. You can add information in the form of pictures, funny pictures or environmental pictures, excuse me, and create a story there. And then you can animate those routes or those tracks, making a video impression of it, which makes it even nicer to share with friends and family. I already said that you can save places as favorites, and there's different map styles that you can choose from. Why you want to do that, I'll show you in a second when I'm on the phone. And you can save the routes offline, or you can create the routes in the cloud and share them online. And of course, you have access to the MyRoute-app route export library and find the best curated routes on the web with many downloads. A favorite of many riders. Last bit of this presentation will be about MRA Navigation Next. Like I said, Corian, the developer, will give you a sneak preview of the MyRoute-app Next Navigation Next app, and if you want to check that out, you can become a pre-sale member at a very sharp discounted price, which gives you instant lifetime access to MRA Navigation, so you can access the current version, and you will be in the beta program for the next releases, and you will have access to MRA Navigation lifetime. Of course, you can follow us on the forum and on Facebook for more information if you're interested in that. Follow the button and you'll find everything you want to know. So let me go to my screen with the phone next to me, which is this one. I switched the phone to English, so you'll see English information in the app. But Zoetermeer is still not translated to Sweet Lake City, so this is where the office of MyRoute-app is. And if I'm looking at the screen here, there's a few buttons just on the screen. The rest is in side menus. We want to keep it clean and easy to use. And going from the top right, you see the square on the top right. If I press that, this is where the different map styles come in play. As I said, there's many different maps depending on your access level, whether you're a gold member, silver member, or a basic member. You can choose the TomTom and the Here map, either in color, light theme, or in dark theme. You can use the MyRoute-app Street map, which has a great feature in the sense that if you zoom in, you can see that buildings become 3D. And if I zoom a little bit to where I have some buildings and I tilt the screen, you can see that there's 3D buildings on the map, and that helps you find your way quite easy because it gives you a better reference of the environment. So that's really a cool feature. But if you prefer a much simpler map, the OpenStreetMap also is available. And that, for example, is a highly used map for walking and hiking, for example, because the smallest tracks, even in the highlands, are to be found on the OpenStreetMap. So also for hikers and bikers, we offer functionality. Then the second button down is that button to create a favorite location. I'm passing a nice waterfall or a nice bridge, or I'm on a curvy road that I want to save maybe for future reference. I just simply tap the start button and I can add a name, and I typically just put one name in and click save, one letter, and click save. You'll find the favorites in your MyRoute-app environment once you're back at home base, and you can adjust the favorites and you can rename them as you want, but you want to highlight that location for future reference. And then the third button down is the button that shows you the routes in the neighborhood, the nearby routes. And as I'm located in Zoetermeer, it comes up with routes in my direct vicinity. And in the bottom of the screen, you see it's now set to 20 kilometers. But with this slider, I can set that to a larger area. Maybe want to go 50 kilometers or something. And if I scroll down a little bit, I find many different routes that I can choose from. This one appeals to me. It's 125 kilometers, it's 3.5 hours. I want to see some more information on that. It's one of the fortresses in the Netherlands, and it's rated with a 4-star review. There's a lot of information you can read why you would want to ride this particular route. And if you agree and you think, yeah, this sounds and reads like something I would do, you can either download or open the route. If I download it, I can choose in which format I want to download it. Typically, you download in GPX 1.1 because all the apps that you can choose from use that. If you have MyRoute-app navigation, of course you don't have to download the route here via mobile now. You can directly open that in MyRoute-app navigation. But for all other apps, or if you want to export to your Garmin device or to your BMW connected app, you download in GPX 1.1. If you are a TomTom user and use a specific cable to export to your older TomTom, you can also use ITN if you want to. If you download the route, then you'll see that your file has been saved, and if you click the green export button, it will come up with an array of apps that you have configured on your phone that can consume that GPX file. If you, on the other hand, choose to write this route directly on MRA Mobile, and as said, it's not a turn-by-turn navigation app, but it will show the route line on the map. So and it will follow the route line as you progress. It is walking, hiking, biking, and even motorcycle riding. It's full-on possible to just follow that line, and it can measure itself with competitive apps for hiking and biking in that respect. With the difference that the route points, in this case both shaping and via points, are visible on the map, and also the information that is stored under that route point is available. This is in Dutch, but of course if you have stored information in English, then you would see that in English. If I want to start riding this track, I just follow the arrow, and I can follow the line on the map. Because I'm not there yet, I first have to go to the start and navigate there via the quickest route, for example. While riding, I press the Start Track Lock button, and as you can see, it is recording in the top of the screen. It is a green bar that says recording, and you see a yellow line develop here on my screen. Because I'm inside and I'm using a developer phone that has a built-in feature to simulate the route on the phone for testing purposes, you now see a track develop. During the ride, I can pause the track and I can restart it. I can add a picture to it, and I can do that from my camera or from the gallery. So if I took pictures along the route, but I didn't do it from the app, I can also add pictures from my gallery, and I'll leave it to record for a minute, and then I'll press stop, and I'll show you how you then can see the track. With the three bars on the top left, you go back to the main menu, and the main menu contains a few easy to follow buttons, and I'll explain the most important ones. You have direct access to your routes that you also have on your web route planner. So it's neatly packed in folders. You can just scroll through that and either select one directly from the root of the folder string, or you can dive into your folders and find them there. For example, if I go up one level and I go up another level, I have a vacation in England. I can find a round tour in Exmoor, for example. I can see all the information, and as before, I have an option to download. The middle button here, I can open the route so it shows in my MyRoute-app navigation, and I can animate this route so I can see in a preview video how this route would develop and where we would be. And if I want to make any changes, I use the pencil button on the left and edit the route on the go. Back in my overview, I can also jump to my friends that I have in my MyRoute-app, complete with pictures. I can easily scroll through a list of people that I'm befriended in my MyRoute-app, and of course I can then select their folder and check out their routes if they have shared any. Same goes for groups. If you are a member of my MyRoute-app groups, and in other webinars I've explained how you can create a group or how you can join one, you can definitely find some routes there and use them the same way as I showed. And lastly, of course, the events, which is a great way to share routes with friends. But coming up in the update 3.2.2, Cor-Jan will explain that you can also share routes with your friends even easier. So stay tuned for that. Back in the main menu, I can also access my track logs, everything that I recently tracked during my rides with my MyRoute-app Mobile. You can find here, and you can review those tracks if you want to. Of course, this was a test track, so that's why it's a straight line. But there's probably a few others that are curvy, as they were really written while in Luxembourg. Then the last bit I wanted to show you is that you can create new routes directly from the app. This brings you to the mobile browser, and it actually is on the mobile website, MyRoute-app Route Planner, and you can add a starting point and then follow the steps to create a round trip or A to B route there. I think in the previous or the before previous webinar I've explained how that works, so please revisit those webinars. I won't go into much detail on creating a round trip now, but it's easy enough. I think you'll find your way there. And if you just created a route or you want to adjust that, the yellow button on the top allows you to jump back into the last route that you have seen. And that also allows you to edit, download, animate or open the route. And if I now go back to the map, you can see that my track log has been going for a while. I press save and I have the option to adjust the name. If I didn't have a name, I can type it in now. I can trash the track log if I don't think it's necessary to keep it. I can drive it and I can add pictures to it, or I can save it. And if I save it, it says track log saved, open track, and you can now see that it simulated part of the track, part of the route, while we were talking. You can see that we covered 9.12 kilometers and we did about 5 minutes in the simulation. And you can use this track for your next adventure as well. So, in short, MyRoute-app Mobile, it's a travel companion. It offers you all the routes that you want to have. You can follow the route line. It's not a turn-by-turn navigation, but it definitely will bring you where you want to go if you keep a half eye on your screen. If you really need turn-by-turn navigation, then we go to MyRoute-app Navigation Next. And that is also the next step in my presentation for today. And for that, I have invited Timo. And I'll just join him on the couch and ask him a few intelligent questions about MyRoute-app navigation. Let me get the chair out of the way. Hi Timo, thanks for joining. Nice to have you here.
Yes.
I said MRA Navigation Next, but we already have a navigation app. So why is it necessary to have Navigation Next?
It's a very good question. So the reason why we are having a Navigation Next app is because our the current navigation app is actually originally designed in 2016. Took almost 2 years to complete the navigation app to a state where we believed it would be ready, which was 2018. And right now we're at a point where the technological basis of the app is just at a point where we can completely rebuild it and re-innovate on what it actually was originally. So that means that we are now moving forward, or what we want to move forward with building an app that's actually built for the day of tomorrow and not yesteryear.
Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, the technology that was used to build the original app is no longer state of the art, so that you cannot build the new features that you want to add on that old fundament. So you need...
We could, but it would be a very bad practice.
Yeah, so you really need to start from scratch.
Absolutely.
To be future-proof, that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. What's your vision then with MyRoute-app Navigation Next?
All right, that's a question I really love answering. MyRoute-app, as you know, has always been a platform for people that are very passionate about traveling, about making motorcycle or car routes, and just going the way they want to go, just going the places they want to go. And we have a beautiful website for that. We're the best all-in-one platform on that specific part. And then you have navigation. And navigation, people have all devices in their car, on their bike. They have a lot of different apps on their phone. One for driving with their camper van, one for with their car, one for this motorcycle, one for off-road, everything. Why? Why do you have so many different apps? It's our vision is that we want to cover all of those things with one app. That's the innovation. And on top of that, we're going to make sure that you can easily switch between the parts of navigating and planning your next adventure. So that's the why. I hope I've answered that properly for you.
Yes, as a motorcycle rider, I have specific needs, and they're not necessarily the same for a camper van rider. We typically don't have height restrictions. No. So what's your vision on that then?
Well, we still want to do the same thing. We want to make sure that one app answers all those questions. With one click, you should be one tap on the phone, obviously, or on a tablet, or on a very tiny iPhone SE. We want to make sure that whatever your device and whatever way you want to explore the road, we present you the information that you need. So if you're driving a camper van, we're going to show you a completely different interface than we're going to show you when you're driving on your motorcycle. On your motorcycle, it might be foggy, and what's usually happening is that people aren't really able to see the instructions really clearly. So they need to be bigger. In a camper where you might actually more comfortably be using a large tablet to navigate, that kind of information can be less large, and it's probably more important for you to know if there's going to be a underpass coming up where you might not fit. So that's the kind of thing, that's the details that we want to make sure that we've covered. And that's why you're currently using so many different apps.
Yep.
And you're just going to be using MRA Navigation next for all those questions, really.
Cool. And I heard you say you want to be able to switch easily between navigating and creating routes. That also means then that there would be a link in the background so that I can stop somewhere and create a new route or make an adaptation, or maybe see a detour coming up. I park my bike on the side of the road, I change something, and I can continue navigating?
Yeah, definitely. And in the initial phases, obviously, it's going to be the website that we've got for that, because we already have a really great website. We have a really great website for making routes and finding routes. But in the app, we want to make sure that all those aspects that are part of route making will also be built in native. So in the future, even if you don't have an internet connection, you're going to be able to make and edit the route you're driving natively.
And that is a great new feature, because one of the drawbacks of working in a cloud-based solution for some people is, well, if I'm on a mountainside in Switzerland, I may not have internet connection, so then I cannot use an online tool.
No.
But we're taking away that reservation by building the functionality in the app. So if you have connection, and in many places, and we've traveled 15,000 kilometers this year alone, and I was hardly ever without internet connection, even in Letland or in Poland or in the north of Finland. But if you find yourself out of internet connection, you would still be able to make adaptations and then continue your ride until you have a Wi-Fi connection in the next McDonald's.
Exactly, and it's easy for us as Northwestern Europeans to say, but I know that a lot of our American users, Australian users as well, they're telling us, you guys have great internet. We don't have that kind of coverage.
Obviously,
No.
yeah.
So that-
if you're in
that
the
is
outback
going
in
to be
Australia or in somewhere in Utah,
You still need to have navigation that works, and you still need to be able to edit your route. I mean, it's beautiful out there. It's maybe even more beautiful than what we have around here. So for those people, and for those people that are really passionate about finding routes there and driving them properly, and not use a lot of different apps where they have to Bluetooth things around, we're going to fix all that. We're going to make sure that it's one app and one app alone.
That sounds really promising. So there's a lot of work for the development team here in Zoetermeer.
Definitely.
I'll ask Cor-Jan to join me next and ask him some questions, or have him present some of the new features. Anything you want to add before I go?
What I really want to add is that the current navigation app is already available for everybody that has bought the navigation next pre-sale, and it's really great, to download that app, because it's already designed for the passionate motorcyclist, with a passionate motorcyclist in mind.
And it works great. Don't forget
it. Works great.
It is a fully functioning navigation app. The only reason we change it is because you want to be future ready.
You want to be exactly. Well, you've taken the words out of my mouth. That's all I would want to add to this interview. Thank you for having me, Sergio.
Thank you very much. And let's go back to this screen so I can ask Cor-Jan to. Oh, my chair went flying without me in it. So I can ask Cor-Jan to present us with some insights on the new app. So I'll get out of the way, and Cor-Jan will take over from here. I'll be back.
Thanks for the introduction, Serge. Welcome everybody. My name is Cor-Jan. I'm the lead developer at MyRoute-app, and you've probably never seen me before, but there's something nice when it's new, so here I am. I was asked to join this webinar to talk about the new mobile app and the development of Navigation Next, so it was good fun for me to start off with that. So the first thing I would like to show you is the upcoming update for next week. In update 3.2.2, we intend on focusing on sharing routes with your friends. You're currently already able to do so. Sergio already briefly discussed downloading GPX files with the mobile app and sharing them with friends. But with the upcoming update, you can do even more. So without further ado, let's show you in the app what you can do. I'm currently logged in with an account. You won't even need that. And on my iPhone right here, I have a list of some downloaded files. You see 2 GPX files and 1 PDF file. So these are offline files on my device. You can download them from MyRoute-app, but you can also download them from any other website, as long as it's a GPX file. And similar to the MyRoute-app website, where you can import GPX files and other file types, the mobile app now supports opening GPX files. So let's take this route right here, and I click the share button on the bottom left of my screen. And one thing that's now new with the update out next week is that you will see the MyRoute-app app listed right here. If you click on the MyRoute-app app icon in this bar, it will open the GPX file within the MyRoute-app app. So if I click right now, here it is. So this route has now been opened in the MyRoute-app app, and I will be able to drive it. So no, this is no turn-by-turn navigation yet. About that more later. But within the app as it exists, you can now drive this route as any other of your own routes. If I tap the button twice right now on the bottom right of my screen, I enter the navigate mode, and I can simply start driving and follow the line of the route I just opened. I can also show this once again. Let me take the other GPX file. I can open it, I can share it, I select the MyRoute-app app, and here we go. You can open any GPX route into the app and drive it. So why are we developing this right now? This also acts as a layer in between with the development of Navigation Next. So as you have to imagine is that at this point you can only open the GPX route in MyRoute-app Mobile, and you can see the line and you can see the waypoints and you can drive it yourself. But there are no instructions. But of course, as soon as we release MyRoute-app Navigation Next, we want you to be able to start directly with the navigation of that route. So this is a useful feature for now, but also already for in the future. One of the other major changes in the upcoming update is that you can also open links, URLs in the MyRoute-app app. So let's consider this text message here I sent to myself. These are 2 routes. The first one you see on the top is a regular route of a friend of mine, and the one below is a route from the Route Expert library. If I click on the first one, it won't open in the browser, but it will open in the app. Why is that? So in the app you can easily open it in MyRoute. In the app you can easily open the route and simply follow the line. You can download it to any format you like and export it to your device. But you can also click the pencil icon to start editing it. If I now click Open Route, it will open and I can start driving it. Now, let's go to the other route. This wasn't a route of a friend of mine, but it was one from the Route Expert library. So you should consider a friend of yours saw a beautiful route, finds it in the website, he copies the link and he shares it with you through WhatsApp. You click on the link, and it will open the Route Expert review page within the app. So here you can read the review, very interesting. You can download it, and you can click on open. And there it is. So this is a very small update for you guys for next week. So be seated for update 3.2.2. We hope you will like it a lot. And now, without further ado, I will talk about Navigation Next, the most exciting part, which is why most of you are watching at me right now. So for Navigation Next, I want to talk about one specific feature we are working on. We are not yet developing everything. We are focusing on A to B navigation right now only. Why are we doing this? So we can make sure that the routing engine we are using is stable. The route calculation needs to work perfectly. But we can also implement all the UI. Because you can already see all the turn-by-turn instructions and the directions, your speed indication, etc. So all these things we are currently working on will be available for our beta testers. The testers are all the people that bought Navigation Lifetime earlier, or those that bought the pre-sale. We hope to deliver a beta version earliest start of November, somewhere there. So stay seated for that, and keep an eye on our regular channels such as the forum, emails, or Facebook. If you are a pre-saler or a Navigation Lifetime user, you will be informed about this automatically. So before I show you anything, I would like to say that everything you see is under construction, so things are due to change, as you might expect. And the flow you will see is not yet that optimal because we're still in development, so we just created it for ourselves, but we do want to give you an insight. So if I search for a location somewhere in the Netherlands, you can do that yourself in the mobile app as well. And this is the screen you would normally see. Without the bar at the top, this is what you would see yourself. You can generate a route like this. You can select the curviness of the route. You can change your vehicle. Everything is possible as it is already in the mobile app. The one thing that is new for me is this button here. I can now change the app to use the navigation system. If I click on generate, that doesn't work. Let's see. There we go again. Always unfortunate if it doesn't work now. So we had an issue with the sound before. Now we have an issue with something else. So let me just quickly reboot the app. There we go. I will generate the route. Why is it not? Well, I will just restart this in a bit. Sorry for you to not be able to see that, but I didn't come unprepared. I have some backup videos for you to show already. So one of the things we already shared was a YouTube video of our UI. So I will just quickly reboot something in the back, but while that is going on, I'll just show you the UI as it is. So right now, this has already previously been shared with you through the forum and a YouTube video. And as you can see, this is the UI of the new navigation. So all the critical information that you need for driving a route is currently displayed on this screen. Please know this is the first iteration of our design, so we have received feedback from the forum from you guys, and we will implement that. We are continuously iterating, and once the beta version is released, you will be able to test it yourself and deliver feedback on the go. So what is the information you see right now? On the top left, you have the most important information, your upcoming instruction. So the instruction you currently see right now is that you have to enter a roundabout. It also shows you on what road it is currently on. And below that, you will see another instruction, which is the next instruction. So in 2.6 kilometers, you have to enter a roundabout. And then also in 2.6 kilometers, you have to take the second exit. Well, this is one of the first things already that's interesting. It's a test version, so obviously you wouldn't need the first instruction. You always enter the roundabout and then you will take the second exit. So please take that detail into account. So this is not final. So these instructions will be polished, but it will show you how the UI looks. On the top right, you will see an indication of the distance to your next waypoint. And furthermore, on the right side of the screen, you will be able to do all the actions you can currently also do in the mobile app. Pausing your track log, taking a picture, saving your track log, and on the bottom right you can see the compass, the warning icon about any events on the road, and 3 dots to show you more options. Furthermore, on the bottom of the screen you can see 2 parts, the road you're currently driving on and the estimated time of arrival to your final destination. And on the bottom left you will see your current speed and the maximum speed on the road you're driving on. So obviously we're not going to show you all the buttons all the time because that's just too much information. So with one tap on the screen you hide all the redundant buttons. So all the things about track log, saving, notifications and stuff, you can hide them by simply tapping the map. This is just as it is on the mobile app right now. And now you also have to imagine that in your settings you can also hide stuff. So if you're not interested in the distance to your next waypoint, you can disable that. If you don't want to see on what road you're driving, you can disable that. And just like that, we want you to be able to polish your own experience a bit while keeping you to a certain format. And by doing so, we really do hope to allow the best experience. We've also typically focused on landscape mode, so this image shows how the app would look in landscape mode with a dedicated view. Some items shift around on the screen to optimize the usage of your screen and the experience of the map. Also, considering this screen, it's still under development and it will probably change for the better. Well, that's it for my images, so now let's see if the app I was wanting to show finally is on the rule. So I want to generate a route to Apeldoorn. No, it's not working. Let's see something else. I'm not sure why this isn't working. There it is. Seems to be a map issue or something. But one thing you can already see is something I don't want to show you. So let's just generate one more route to see if this one does show it pretty. There it is. So we got the UI loaded. Something went wrong. That's everything with the test version. The last 2 days we've been working tirelessly on the app. And as you can see, something didn't go quite well right now. But I am able to show you what we want to do. So with what you now see is the first iteration of our A to B navigation. So we now generated a route from Zoetermeer, where we are right now, to a train station in The Hague. And the most interesting part I want to show you guys is that we already are working on multiple routes. So we generated a route, A to B, from where we are right now to The Hague, and you will see 2 alternative routes displayed. If I tap the other alternative route, it will show that one. If I tap the other one, it will show that one. Just like in Google Maps, you're able to select the own route of your choosing. If I will now click on Start, it will start the navigation towards that destination. And this is now the UI as you just saw in my images. And because I rebooted the app, I'm not now currently driving because the demo modus is shut down. But I have shown you the images, so you should have a good feeling of the UI right now. So this is currently the development of my MyRoute-app navigation next. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience of not the smoothest flow towards this demo. But I do hope that a combination of the screenshots and the eventually working part gave you a small impression. Just as a recap, we are aiming to release this as a beta version to you guys, the pre-sailers, early November. So keep in touch for that. And we really want to know any feedback from you guys. And I am looking forward to creating the best navigation app in the world with your feedback and the incredible help of the team here in MyRoute-app. So thank you very much for watching. And I will now pass the floor back to Serge. So thank you very much.
And thank you, Korjan. That was a really good demo of quite a few cool features. I hope you agree that was something to look forward to. And Korjan already said it's a test version, right? So this is what we use to build the application, and then when you do a demo, it's forgiven that sometimes things don't work as designed. But be assured, once it's hitting the stores, it will be flawlessly working. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was my pleasure hosting, and I hope that the information that Timo and Korjan shared as well was of interest to you. I hope that you consider becoming a pre-sailor for MRA Navigation next. And if you go out on a nice ride this weekend, make sure you do it with MyRoute-app. And if you do, keep it safe. I'll be here in November, I think, for the next update webinar. So check our socials and check our YouTube channel for information and get notified. Thank you for watching tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.